Croatia, you are beautiful. In this video, I want to take you on a journey together with us through Dubrovnik to experience this superb medieval city dating back to the 7th century and now home to around 43,000 people. Going through the old town, exploring different dishes, as well as a glimpse of the Red History Museum. Hope you will enjoy this video, and if you do, please don't forget to like and subscribe to support this channel. Our experience with Dubrovnik started on our way from the airport to the city. A very nice taxi driver began telling stories of Dubrovnik while leading us to our destination. I was indulging every bit of information as I was looking out the window, admiring the breathtaking views from the southern Croatian coast. Amongst the stories that truly struck me was one about how Dubrovnik was built. I do not know if the story reflects the actual reality or if it is taken from Croatian folklore. However, I found out that back in the days when people were entering Dubrovnik, they had to bring a stone with them to the city. In time, the city was built and fortified stone by stone by engineers who were so renowned that they were hired even by the Roman Empire to consolidate their cities. Dubrovnik, as explained by the taxi driver, did not fall under any occupation since then. Arriving in Dubrovnik, we knew we had to make the best of our time here, so we decided it was best to enjoy as much of the old town as we could. It is, after all, an impressive remnant of a time long gone. However, before journeying into the historical old town, we stopped to have a light lunch at a nearby restaurant called Sesame, close to our Airbnb. One thing I love about coastal cities is the fresh seafood. So we ordered one octopus salad for Alex and for me a seafood risotto with shrimp and mussels mixed with a tomato sauce. The food was good, service okay, but not outstanding compared to our other seafood meal experiences. I would rate this a 7 out of 10. The place had a cozy feeling though. Walking towards the old town, I saw a side street leading down to the water area. We ended up in a fairy tale place, an oasis far away from the main street, bustling with tourists, shops and restaurants. The West Harbor of Dubrovnik. There we found ourselves in a bay, on one side having the unwavering Dubrovnik fortress, while on the other part, the old town city walls. I was just mesmerized by the whole setting, surrounded by blue clear waters, historical elements, and a warm and cozy atmosphere. Visiting the fortress was not our lucky shot. It was too late to visit the first time we tried, and the next day a wedding couple was holding ceremonies there. So this will be on our to-do list the next time we're in Dubrovnik. If you were there, how was your experience of the fortress? The evening was closing in as we entered the old town of Dubrovnik through one of the 4 entrance points, the Pile Gate. Walking deeper into the old town, we came to the main street, called Stradun, animated with plenty of restaurants, shops and people going back and forth towards their destinations. The whole historical setting made me feel as though I entered a parallel universe from the 1600s, where time forgot to move on. It was now time for dinner, and we stopped at a restaurant called Dundomarohe, a nice little place hidden on one of the many side streets of Stradun. There, we had our first amazing seafood experience, starting with the seafood tapas, and then one seafood stew for me, made in a delicious tomato sauce served with crunchy polenta bites, and for Alex, mixed seafood grill served with fried vegetables. Good service, amazing food. It deserved a 9 out of 10. The next day started a bit slowly as we had to wait for the storm to pass. It was raining cats and dogs, so it was no chance for us to go walking on the streets, unfortunately, even with an umbrella or rain poncho. It was already lunchtime, so we decided that we should eat at the restaurant in the old town and then continue to explore it. We found a place a bit further up the side streets of Stradun called Heritage of Dubrovnik, a place offering Dalmatian specialities. This was one of our best food and service experiences in Dubrovnik. For starters, we took a mixed platter with different hams and cheeses from the area, as well as 2 oysters. The platter was delicious, however, I was not a fan of the oysters. Yet, the main course was the one standing out for real. I took a pasta recipe with a delicious red wine sauce and beef meat, while Alex had a similar sauce with lamb meat and oven-baked potatoes and vegetables. The food tasted spectacular and it worked so well with our recommended Bottega de Gara red wine. After finishing off our lunch, we continued journeying into the old town, going up and down the stairs through narrow cobblestone streets, being delighted by all the historical elements that prevailed after so many years. All of the houses, buildings with important values such as the Rector Palace or the different monasteries, were enclosed by the mighty old town walls. These date back from the 13th century and have protected the city from incoming attacks ever since. Yet, nature's forces couldn't be kept away. One of the latest disasters happening to the old town was an earthquake which destroyed great parts of the city. It was then rebuilt in 1667, and since then it remained unchanged. One of the reasons it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. One thing that drew my attention was the meticulously built artistic elements out of stone, beautifying the whole city and making me fall in love with it even more. Similar to the West Harbour, we found another port right in the old town. There, some people were taking boats to nearby islands, and others were enjoying their dinners with a spectacular view. And then I found this little crab family on a stair close to the waters. After all the stair climbing and walking down the streets back and forth, we ended up at our Airbnb again, relaxing on the terrace before dinner. As for dinner, this was our other outstanding experience in Dubrovnik, both service and food-wise. As we had a pretty hefty lunch, we decided to go for a tapas bar, and we found the perfect one. Tapas bar a la maca. The next day, it was time for us to prepare for our ferry ride toward Split. However, we had a few hours left to spend in Dubrovnik before our departure. So the answer was the Red History Museum, a place that was on my musts when in Dubrovnik. Leaving our bags at the bus station's wardrobe, we were now free to discover another part of Dubrovnik further away from the old town, the main harbor. A clean area with restaurants following the main road, ships anchored by the docks, and apartment buildings neatly arranged on hills turned this spot into a charming landscape. The Red History Museum, a one-floor and a few rooms construction, is a place where we went to discover what life was like during communist times. It is perfect, both in size and the amount of information offered to its visitors. What I enjoyed the most was that I could get immersed in the life people lived back then by interacting with different elements such as opening cupboard doors, listening to music and playing chess. All in all, the few hours spent there were worth it. After visiting the museum, we prepared for our 5 hours ferry ride with a proper lunch and the excitement to enjoy the stunning views of the Croatian coastline. And off we went to Split.